Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first hour of the Deeper States Mind and Wellness Show. I guess, right? It's kind of like the Today Show has first hour, second hour, third hour, all the way up to 10th hour. Today is the first hour of your life. It's the first hour of your morning. First hour of my morning, anyway. I want to talk to you today a little bit about kind of relationships and being renewing of your relationships. Um, so my name is Michael. My company is Deeper States Mind and Wellness. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and neurolinguistic programmer. Those of you who join me today, make sure that you go to the link below where it says, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Just open up another browser, click on that. That'll let you talk to me and let you actually leave comments, and then we can address some comments. But today's show is going to be about renewal, and spring's coming, right? So we know that spring. Many of the animals hibernate, right? Plants lose their foliage. They kind of go underground. They go into dormant state, or they're up above the ground and they're in a dormant state. There's no new growth. If there's growth, there's very little growth. It's more of a hibernation moment, a time for hibernating and for going into kind of sitting in one place and not really doing a lot. And I want to talk a little bit about our emotions and how sometimes we do that. We suppress our emotions. Now, I think our life, our purpose in life is here to serve, and I do believe that. I believe that we're here to serve each other. We're here to care about each other, to love each other. I mean, that is what we're here for. And if you don't have that, you live you lose the continuity of what your life purpose is, right? But also, let's talk on that part of it. Is that when you sit underground and you let people compress you to the point where you're not showing who you are, or you're not growing in any way, then that causes you to kind of pull back and not to be yourself, not to let the world know who you are, but more importantly, you're not letting them know who you are, but you're not doing the work of what we're here to do, right? Like I said, I think we're all here to serve each other, and I want to tell a little bit of story of a client I had in the past, who this client, had been raised in a very abusive family. The abuse started at a very, very young age and continued with the mother all the way up until the mother hit old age. And now the daughter's coming in and feels this religious obligation, or this personal connection. As you know, the Bible, they have the process of saying, serve thy mother, serve thy father. The thing is that when you're abused that way, it's difficult to do, but it felt like it was a moral obligation. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because just like Mother Earth, right? Everything is hibernating. Everything is sitting in the wintertime, and it's dealing with things. It's going through those processes of just being dormant, not really growing, not really expanding, but just sitting dormant. And what I want to say with that is that, the dormant state of our mind is hindering us. It if you're living a life that's like that, and with this young woman, she had to come to terms to understand what she was having to do and what her commitment was. And I'm not saying to not be there for your family, not be there for your friends, but if you're being hindered, or you're being constantly abused, or you're being constantly taking in negative emotions, that keeps you from growing, keeps you from letting the unconscious mind grow and expand. How many of you, and I'm sure most of you out there, have had friends that are in your life that are just nagging constantly, or they're negative, they're living in a cesspool of anger and negativity, and it's very difficult to just shut that down. And just like Mother Earth, we can tolerate it for so long, and then something has to happen. Either there's a new birthing, a new coming out of the ground, and a new arrival, right? But we have to evolve with each other. And I had to work with this young lady and help her understand that, yes, there is that commitment to family. There is that commitment to relationships, that commitment to people that you love, that you care about. But where does that stop? Does it continue for your entire life? Or do you say, thank you so much, I love you, I appreciate you for giving me life, I appreciate you for, doing the best you could, because that was what you had, right? I mean, a lot of times parents don't know better. A lot of times friends don't know better. They don't even know what's going on. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day that was talking about how, they're on in a situation right now where the woman who they're with is just nonstop complaining about the husband, complaining about the house, complaining about everything, and they're on a trip together. So how do you shut that down? How do you renew that, right? So with this young lady, we had to go in and have her understand, yes, you respect that you were given life. You respect that you were given an opportunity to live. You respect that you were given a mind to think of your own. But also, if you haven't gone through and had enough understanding of what has to be kept with you and what has to be released and let go, you hold on to these emotions for the rest of your life. They sit in your unconscious mind, and that's how they respond. So when you have somebody who's around you who's constantly complaining, constantly nagging, how do you get away from that? How do you close those emotions or sensations out without being rude, right? Because remember, we're here to serve. We're here to respect each other. Under any condition, we're here to respect each other. The only thing is, do you have to continue being abused with that situation? Absolutely not. And with this young lady, this woman now, we had to kind of get her to understand that her responsibility was to take care of her mother, to make sure she was okay, to make sure that she was gonna keep living, that she was going to do the best of what she could with what she had, get her into a extended care living home, visit her occasionally, but not be abused. And the abuse started immediately. Put this woman in a home. She started saying, you have to be here every day. I need you here every single day. So for a year, this woman was going and sitting with her mother for an entire year, every day. Now, she had no life. She'd given up everything, right? She had given up her kids. She had given up her family. She was going there to take care of her mother every day. Because for her, she felt like it was not just a religious need, but it was also an emotional, if I don't do this, I'm going to hell. And I want you to know that she did the best she could, and I don't think she's going to hell for her beliefs, but she came to me feeling this way. And how many of us feel that way? We feel guilt over what we're not doing for people. And it's so important to know that if you're living that kind of life and you're giving your life to someone else, how can you serve? How can you be there for someone when you're not being there for yourself? So just like this young lady, I want you guys out there to know that you have the ability to love people conditionally, I guess, if I don't want to say that properly. And that may not be the right word, but I'm gonna grab that. We have the right to love people conditionally in their space. So, you may have a friend that you love 100%, greatest person ever, in small doses, right? You go in and this person, you can handle them for an hour, 2 hours, and then they just start complaining and nagging. It becomes this roller coaster of bitching. And the key with that is that you give them that limited amount of time. You're in control of your time. And my business owners that I coach out there, my clients out there, you have the right to say, I'm busy today. You have the right to say, no, I can't do that for you. I'm doing this instead. And you don't need an excuse. You don't feel obligated to give an excuse. You just say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's it. When you come into that process and you start to control your life, you start to lead yourself in your direction of what you need for your own self, it's a renewal process. It's like Mother Earth. Mother Earth is in hibernation and growing and building and doing things to produce that beautiful plant that's going to come up, and it's going to be fulfilled. It's going to be a plant that was stronger than it was last year, hopefully, right? But what has to happen underground? That plant has to still continue getting water from the earth. It has to continue getting nutrients, right? So let's look at how we respond to that as a human being. We have to be able to continue getting nutrients in order to grow. And the nutrients for us is education, understanding, knowledge, going out and learning new things, grabbing what we think we want to do, trying it. If we don't like it, we fail it, we do something else. And the word of failure is very limited in my vocabulary. I'm going to tell you, I don't fail. I learn something, I understand it, and either I take what I need from it, what made me better as a human being, and I apply that to the next step of my life. So a lot of people are starting new businesses, and I'm dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs. They're coming in and they're struggling, they're failing. But is it a failure or is it a learning experience? For this young lady, was it a learning experience to understand what to do with her mother and how to deal with her as far as putting her in a home? How much she wanted exposure to the toxic, right? In Spanish, we always say, no, es una persona muy tóxica. If you're living with somebody or experiencing somebody who's a very toxic person, you need to limit those moments, limit those opportunities, so you can grow and enrich your life, so you can serve the rest of the world. Because if you can't do that, you're stuck. You'll remain in an abusive situation for the rest of your life. So think about this for a moment. So if you have people like that in your life right now, that you are experiencing this toxic moment all the time, why? You're doing it to yourself. I don't believe that people make us feel the way we feel when we're negative, right? Or people don't say, if somebody comes up to you and says, you're ugly. Are you feeling that because you're telling yourself that? Or are you feeling that because this person's making you be ugly, right? So know that when you're getting constant bombarding of life, you're going to deal with life. But if you're getting constantly bombarded and the people around you are toxica, right? The people that are part of your community, toxica, right? Toxic. If you're dealing with those situations, isolate the situation, limit the exposure, and grow. Take the nutrients of what you're learning and grow. Take what you understand from these people and grow. Expand your mind, expand your knowledge. When I worked for Delta Airlines, I was there for 16 and a half years. I'm going to tell you, there were many, many flight attendants and a lot of people, not just flight attendants. There were pilots. There were people on the gates that felt like, if something happened to them and they had to choose another career, that they could do it. They would fail, right? Because they knew nothing else. They didn't understand anything else. I left after 16 and a half years. Some of these people had been there for, 10 years and felt stuck. What I want to tell you is that if you feel stuck, look at your surroundings. Change the toxic people around you, and your life will start to evolve. You'll start to be like that plant that's underground right now that's getting all the nutrients from Mother Earth, taking the soil, taking the water, and preparing to burst into something brand new. You are bursting into something new if you allow yourself to do that. If you don't, that plant's going to sit underground and never burst. It's never going to come up. It's going to die underground. So if I could give you guys one thing from my voice to your ears, anywhere you're at, and invite people to watch this, invite people to understand that you have the moment to grow. But if you're sitting waiting for that right moment, how many of you out there how many of you ever had the right moment? When is the right moment for change? We don't have the right moment. There's no such thing as the right moment. There's never a perfect situation or a perfect circumstance for change to happen. It has to be something that is uncomfortable, but you also make it comfortable by allowing the exposure to yourself. All right? I want to bring in an instance or an understanding. So if you have somebody around you that you love dearly, and you can take them in limited amounts of time. I'm going to go a little bit backwards here. If you're taking them in limited amounts of time, how do you limit that time? It's easy to make a lunch date, right? So you know that you're going to expose yourself for only an hour. Now, if you want to be abused, you go there and you have cocktails first, you have appetizers, you have a salad, or you just go in and you say, no, I'm not really that hungry. Let's get dinner, and I have an appointment afterwards, or I have to go home and take care of the dog. Whatever you need to do in order to limit that exposure. And eventually, I'm going to tell you that if the toxic person is continuing to feed you these emotions and continue to complain about everything, and you're not responsive to it, eventually the complaining is going to stop, because now or they defriend you, right? Remember the commercial on where the old ladies are together. It's like, I'm going to remove you as my friend, and she erases her off the board. Facebook doesn't work like that, but we do, right? I mean, if somebody's not giving you put yourself in that toxic person's situation. If that toxic person is feeling these emotions, and I'm going to talk a little bit about emotions, right? If that toxic person is living and growing into those emotions and feeding off of it, it feels good for that person to complain about everything, but it also feels good for them to see the reaction of the person they're complaining to. So if you don't have a reaction and you limit the conversation to positive emotions or positive things that are happening for you, then that person feels consumed. They feel like, oh my God, she's not listening to me, or he's not listening to me. Why do I even go to lunch with her? Or why do I even go to lunch with him? I have a friend, so I'm no longer friends with her, but she used to she'd call and just talk nonstop. Matter of fact, a friend of mine used to say, it's crazy. I fall asleep and she's still talking. And she'll be like, aren't you listening to me? And the interesting thing is that friendship dissolved for me and dissolved for my friend as well. Because when you are not giving people the fire that they need, right? The fire that they need to continue that negative stance in their mind, in their body, in their physical soul, they don't want you around. And that's one way to limit that, or to eliminate that, really, because if it's so bad, don't stay. If it's so bad, eliminate it, close it down, just become unavailable. And the more unavailable you are, the more they start realizing, oh, that person's not around. They don't want to hear my story. The friend that I'm talking about used to talk nonstop. I mean, to the point where you couldn't get a word in edgewise. I mean, it was a consumption of negativity and self-loathing. And if you're good with that, it becomes who you are. So I had a cousin in my life when I was a young boy, and I remember them very well. But my parents used to sit around the table, play penny ante poker, and just kind of talk and have it brought people together in my parents' home to have a good time. And it was crazy because she used to be, I'm gonna change names here, but she used to be very heavy set, very angry. Life had not been good to her, which she brought a lot of that onto herself. And the husband was very, very outgoing. He would talk to everybody at that table. He would tell stories of when he was in the war and everything. And she'd just be like, Bob, shut the hell up. Nobody wants to hear this situation. Nobody wants to hear from you. Just shut up. So, and it didn't matter who was at the table. There could be new people or old people. But it became this relationship, right? If you let the negative go for so long, it becomes part of who you are. And you experience it. You like to enjoy it. It almost becomes part of the relationship for both of you. So I'm asking you out there that if you have this kind of relationship, spring's coming, right? Spring's right around the corner. Start eliminating or limiting those types of relationships. And don't become toxico, right? Don't become toxic to toxic. Don't become, and it's very easy. So the unconscious mind is it's so easy for the unconscious mind to go in and have negative beliefs and negative thoughts. We do it to ourselves. That self-talk goes into our mind and starts to, oh, you can't do that. Well, what do you think? Who are you that you think you can do this? Who are you that you think you're going to be able to go in and succeed at this? So if you can do that to yourself, imagine what it's like when somebody else is doing that to you all the time as well. So those negative beliefs will become your beliefs. And what happens is you start to feed off of that. So this couple, my cousins, as I was growing up, became comfortable with that. It became their lifestyle. It became who they were. They could be with each other, they could be around each other, and they could be without each other. And they always had to be together. So the interesting thing is, and I did not keep in touch with their kids, and I would love to have seen how they coped with that, and how, as a therapist now, it'd be awesome to go back and see how they reflect upon their past and their history, because they stayed together their whole lives, this couple. And at the end, when one passed away, the other one was so lonely, so upset, and so sad, because they had learned how to function like that. So it's really important that if you're going through your life and you're living your best life, right? In order for that to happen, you're going to have to look around. You're going to have to cleanse and clear the people around you that are negative. Don't take toxic people. It's not good for you. It causes your unconscious mind to start thinking, maybe it's me. It causes your unconscious mind to start thinking, why am I thinking I'm better than this person when this person has such a miserable life? Limit the exposure, limit the time. That's one thing you're in control of, right? Is your time. And let me tell you something. You're not going to buy time back. You're not going to find time tomorrow. You're not going to wake up in the morning tomorrow and say, oh my God, I have 3 hours banked that I didn't use yesterday. Life is short, very short. So I want you to live your life to its fullest. Be the flower, or be the whatever. You want to be the fruit tree, be the fruit tree. Get those buds blooming right now. Spring is happening. Look around yourself. See who's around you. If you have people that are loving you, people that hold you up to the light of illumination and want to see you glow, keep them around you. Be that friend as well. All right? Be that person who helps people hold people up to that light and say, wow, you look great today. And it's the littlest things mean so much, don't they? When you look at somebody and say, hey, I love your shirt. Oh, that's so beautiful. It looks great. Little white lies, as a friend used to tell me all the time. They're just little white lies. But the thing is, those little white lies make somebody feel good. They make their day become special. And if you're not getting that in your relationships, where somebody's not holding you up, respecting you, honoring you, and wishing the best for you, it's time to make some changes. It's time to evaluate who you are as a human being, and why are you allowing yourself to be in this abusive behavior pattern? And is it becoming something that you thrive off of? I mean, I know a couple that, one of them is constantly complaining about the husband, and that couple. It's interesting because it's like Delta Airlines. I don't know if these people believe that there's nothing else they can do, or they believe that they're stuck and they can't get out, or they believe that there's too much investment. But I'm going to tell you, life is really short. Very short. I mean, think about this for a moment. I don't care what part of life you're in right now. If you were in grade school, go back and remember something. Close your eyes and go back and remember one thing that you thought was really awesome. One thing that really made you feel good. And how quickly that one thing disappeared. How it's just a memory now. So you might be in your 20s. You might be 18 right now and be thinking, oh my gosh, I can just deal with this I can deal with it. I can cope with it. Life is short. Life is very short. If you're not experiencing happiness and pleasure in what you do, then please make some changes. So with spring around the corner, be the one that sprung. All right? Spring's around the corner, be the one that sprung. Make these evaluations in your life. And it's really difficult, I know, because there's sometimes we're such a rush. We're doing and doing and doing and doing. We never take that free moment or that time to say, who's around me? Who am I actually enjoying and not enjoying? So, and I know some people were asking me if this is going to be about cleansing things out of your home. It's part of that. It is. It's a time of renewal. Spring is a time of renewal. Renew yourself. If you have clutter, get rid of it. If you have friends and family that are cluttering you, get rid of them, or limit the spatial time with them. Don't let them consume your space. Limit the amount of time that you spend with them. Clutter in your home slows down creativity. Clutter in your home slows down the ability to manifest money, to manifest love, to manifest relationships, because you're depressed. It will make you depressed. Clutter in your life makes you depressed. Clutter in your life holds you back from the best person you can be. Clutter in your life doesn't allow you to serve. And that's what each one of us are here for. We're here to serve each other. You see somebody on the bus or on the train, or somebody who looks really sad, just say hi. That's all it takes. It takes a small expression of love. If you have somebody in your life right now that you love, and who respects you and honors you and is caring for you today, make a phone call. I challenge each of you that's hearing my voice right now, whether you're watching the replay or you're watching this live, make a phone call. Just say, hey, I love you. Don't say why. Don't say what. Just say, hey, I just called. Just called to say I love you. Just want to say, I hope you're doing good. Hope everything's okay with you. Text them that if you need to. But I challenge you to go out there and express yourself with people that are around you. Surround yourself by successful people, because you'll learn so many tools. Surround yourself by people who really honestly care for you, because you'll learn the tools of love. Okay? Look, I'm a therapist. So when I look at something, I don't just look at it, I analyze it. I try to understand how to make something better. And I think a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us just accept where we are and say, okay, this is it. It's not getting any better. I just have to cope and I have to just deal with this, right? The idea is that we limit ourselves to the exposure of what we want, to be. And if you're, excuse my French, I'm gonna say this. If you're a shitty person, and everybody around you is saying, "Oh my God, you do this, you do that," stop. Look at yourself in the mirror and self-evaluate. Because if you're not being the friend that you think that you want people to treat you like, that's a problem. And I'm not going to say that there aren't some people out there that consume themselves every day. There's some people in your life that are going to consume themselves no matter what. They're going to just need. Metaphysical people will tell them that they're vampires, and they are. They're emotionally draining. They're emotionally exhausting. Close those people out little by little, or limit the exposure, right? So if your mother-in-law is toxic, bien tóxica la mujer, right? She's a toxic woman. Then you need to say, okay, so honey, I love you, but you can see your mother every day if you want. But for me, I need to limit the exposure. Maybe that's a dinner a month. Maybe that's a family gathering where you know that it's only going to be those, if say it's a 3-hour family gathering. You go for 1 hour, you meet everybody, you express yourself, you share your love, the love that you have and radiate inside yourself, and leave. Go back to your loving environment. Do not expose yourself in something that you think you can't get out of, because all of us can get out of anything we put ourselves into. I promise you that. You get into something, look, you've had bad relationships in your past. All of us have. You've had situations that sucked. You finally got tired, and that's one thing that the mind does. The unconscious mind only makes 2 decisions that make change. That's being fed up and angry, or pleasure. So if you're living a pleasurable life, you're growing your mind. You're growing your mind, you're going to be able to make different decisions. You're going to be able to share what's inside of you and share it with the world. You're going to grow. Not only are you growing, you're helping the world grow, right? You are the grain of sand that makes a difference on the beach. You really are. You are the grain of sand. If we remove the 1 grain of sand, is it going to be missed? For a while, but eventually it's not going to be missed. You need to care for yourself. And again, I'm going to reiterate that life is very, very short. You need to be able to love yourself unconditionally, to be able to respect yourself, and to give that to the people that are surrounding you. And if they're not giving it to you, it's time for change. All right. So I hope this was good. I hope this helps some of you out there. I mean, I'm here, and if you'd like to contact me, please DM me. I'm more than willing to talk to you and to at least give you guys advice. I'm an open book. I have learned and lived a lot. I worked for an airline for 16 and a half years. I watched people. I understood how they operated. When my crew members would go down into the crew lounge, a lot of times I would just sit in that boarding area and watch how people respond and how they're interacting with each other. It's interesting to say that life, Mother Earth, we have a lot to learn from Mother Earth. She evolves. I know when this pandemic started, a lot of people are saying, my God, it's the Earth cleansing itself of everything. It's, we had, that we had no pollution here in Los Angeles. There was I think a week or 2 or 3, I guess during the entire lockdown, actually. I mean, we had no pollution. We had the cleanest air ever. Animals were coming down from the mountains and starting to come down into the valleys again. It's just toxic things around you destroy you or hold you back. So cleanse yourself, let them go. And share this. If you guys are liking these morning talks, please share them. Invite people. Like this post today, right now. Go in there, like it. Give me a comment. If you DM me, I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Maybe you don't know how to limit yourself with a certain person. DM me, private message me. I'm willing to have a conversation with you. All right. For my entrepreneurs or anybody out there who's starting a new business, visit me on Monday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to be talking about business tools that you guys can use and ideas of how you can grow your company. Many of you right now are starting businesses. Many of you are right now launching new ideas and new processes, and you're really taking back control of your life. I mean, and that's good. Just step in a way that you're not going to fail it completely, okay? And it's pretty hard to fail yourself completely. For 98, think about this, guys. For 98% of your life, you've showed up for yourself, right? 98% of your life, you've showed up for yourself. Maybe even 99. because some of you know how to deal with the mistakes you make and correct them and learn from them and grow and expand. Some of you, it crushes you and you're stuck. I mean, I had a hypnotist that he did a stage show at the comedy club in Orange County and failed, and never got up and did it again. Never ever did it again, and is miserable because his career went from doing hypnotherapy and NLP into completely doing something he did not like for our United States government, something that he felt that he didn't enjoy, and it was at a local level. So I mean, it was good benefits, good pay, but life is short. Life is short, and don't let the discouragements of what happened to you hinder you or hold you down. Take those, learn from them, understand them, and grow, and get the toxic people out of your life. All right, you guys, thank you so much. It's 9:31. Like I said, I'm going to keep these to 30 minutes. I really do think, I know we're looking at like 15 minutes, but I just can't talk. I have too much to give you guys. I've done this for 25 years. I have too much to share. I'm here to share. I'm here to help you develop your life and grow. You know, expand, be your best. Don't expand body-wise, expand mentally. Get your mind to think outside the box. Get your mind to address things that aren't working for you. Alrighty, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything. Any comments from you guys, just put them down below. I see there's a lot of people on YouTube. Facebook, I have a couple people, and this time slot might change. It just depends. We're working on getting more Facebook people involved and more Facebook people to be able to come in and hear what I have to say, and hopefully take some tools, a nugget for you. If you listen to this and you got just one nugget out of this, share it with your friends, share it with your family, bring them on board. I'll be here for a while, every Monday at 9 a.m. to 9:30, and just we'll use this as a show. And if any of you over YouTube, I know that the comments section is not working sometimes, and I know that they're working on that. Their developers are working on the program itself. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything and love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, and see you next week. Go out there and create your life by your design.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.